I've said it before and I'll say it again. Each episode of Agatha All Along gets better and better, and episode 5 was no exception. I'm also not sure if you noticed, but it was probably the shortest episode so far, clocking in at just a few seconds over 25 minutes in length. But they sure packed in a lot for those 25 minutes. The internet was abuzz literally the moment the episode was released. And a quick rant before we get into the review. Please, 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 my fellow Agatha All Along fans, please, I beg of you, stop posting screenshot spoilers on social media with little to no comment or context 10 seconds after the episode has aired. I mean, I tried really hard to avoid spoilers on Twitter and Threads, but sometimes you're just scrolling through your timeline and oh hey, a picture of Teen pops up wearing the Scarlet Witch crown on his head. I mean, oh gosh. And no, I wasn't even aware of the Funko Pop leak that apparently occurred earlier until some people responded to a post I made on Thread, jokingly sending out a hex about across the internet to all those people posting spoilers. But yeah, just it would be nice if people just didn't do that, because I'm in the UK and I don't get to watch it the same time as you guys do in the US, so you know. I beg of you, please don't. Anyway, rant over. Let's get into discussing episode 5 of Agatha All Along. We begin with our dysfunctional coven back on the Witch's Road, but the stakes are even higher now as the Salem 7 have found their way onto the road and are in hot pursuit. Lily awakens from a vision and frantically awakens the coven, telling them we need to leave immediately. The summoning spell used to bring Rio to the road has left the door open for the Salem 7 to enter, and they are coming for Agatha's head. Agatha, already aware of this, is running through and saying, listen ladies, Teen, pack your stuff and let's go, we need to get out of here. And as the screeches doesn't get louder and the Salem 7 get closer, it's obvious to the coven that they're not going to be able to outrun them. Teen, being ever resourceful, suggests, why don't we use brooms? Much to the witches' dismay. The broom has become a stereotype associated with all witches, and they consider it distasteful, degrading, or in Jennifer's words, they're basic. But as Teen suggests, do you want to live or do you want to be offended? Sometimes you got to hold your nose and do things you don't like just to survive. So the coven does a ritual to enchant the roots of a nearby tree to become brooms and take flight just after they're attacked by one of the Salem 7. Soaring into the night sky with a blood moon, more on that later, high and imposing. The coven enjoy a brief moment of exhilaration as the wind blows through their hair and on their faces, with a scene reminiscent of the Amblin logo. We see the moon act as a silhouette as the coven flies past. Lilia, after being the most vocal against using the brooms, has a great line where she says, I haven't done this in centuries. I do wonder how old she actually is. Agatha, meanwhile, glances over at Rio, who is busy serving looks while riding her broom, and betrays a brief moment of relief and longing before the reality of the road comes crashing down. Literally. The coven seems to forget that they are on the Witch's Road and still have trials to compete, and the road forces them back to the ground where another member of the Salem 7 is waiting for them. Rio does the most maniacal witchy laugh as they're plummeting to the ground. I'm still laughing at this days later. Aubrey Plaza she is hilarious. The coven, as they plummet to the ground, see the next trial in another one of these eerie looking houses. Like, seriously, these houses are proper creepy, man. Like, if I saw one of those, I'd be like, listen, let's head the other direction. But they frantically crash their way in, shutting the door just in time, trapping the Salem 7 outside. Now, you know exactly what time it is, because every single time there's a new trial and we enter one of those creepy looking houses, we get a wardrobe change. And this time we are transported back to a 1980s Jane Fonda aerobics exercise class with spandex, leggings, headbands, cotton socks up to your knees, and short shorts. Inside the house, the coven explore, trying to identify what the next trial could be. Rio points out that this trial belongs to Agatha, much to her distress. You can literally see the scheming and concern on Agatha's face. Lilia also points out that the blood moon represents a time when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest, so it's evident that this trial is going to involve spirits or ghosts. And as Rio says in a really funny line, who better to commune with the dead than someone who has put so many in their grave? Yep, she's talking about you, Agatha. And just like that, Teen picks up a Ouija board that mysteriously drops on the floor, And by mysteriously, I mean a creepy house did it, and the trial starts a countdown on their classic Casio digital watches that have somehow miraculously appeared on their wrists as part of the wardrobe change. I do love the attention to detail with respect to the time period. Teen then hilariously starts explaining the rules of the trial, seemingly adding in rule number 2, do not speak over each other, which of course leads the ladies to immediately begin speaking over each other. You cannot help this coven, they're too much. The trial begins and Agatha tries to distract from her fear by pretending to be possessed by the recently departed Mrs. Hart, aka Sharon Davies. She does a ridiculously hilarious impression talking about, I was busy at home, day drinking and looking at conspiracy theories on Facebook. Really well done, that scene. But the coven is having none of it and they see right through it. They continue with the trial because of course, when has messing with a Ouija board ever not gone wrong? The spirit identifies itself on the board as death, and that for the trial to succeed, Agatha must be punished. Agatha freaks out and takes her hands off the Ouija board, breaking one of the rules, which was don't take your hand off the board, and unleashes a spirit that lets out a deafening screech until Jennifer says out loud what the spirit actually wants. Punish Agatha. The deafening screech stops, and the coven debate on how best to punish Agatha. Rio suggests, in fine form, that why don't you just slit Agatha's throat, leading to arguably one of the funniest lines in this entire episode when Agatha says, and people ask me why I don't have female friends. that was one of the funniest bits of this episode, I must say. Meanwhile, Agatha mysteriously vanishes and the lights go out. The coven, hungry to punish, searches for her, and Teen is jumped by a now possessed Agatha, complete with an exorcist-looking face, body contortions, supernatural strength, and being in need of a serious trip to the dentist. Her teeth were janked, man. Her mouth was messed up. The lights come back on and Agatha disappears again. Suddenly a ghost appears, identifying itself as Evanora Harkness of the Salemites, Agatha's mother. She had possessed Agatha just then and explains that the coven must finish the Witch's Road, but without Agatha, and demands they leave Agatha with her. Agatha and her mum have a rather testy reunion where Agatha asks rather innocently, Mum, why do you hate me so much? Her mother, without missing a beat, says that when Agatha was born, she was born evil, and that she'd wish she'd killed her the moment she'd left her body. Oof. Nasty, man, nasty. The coven are torn in this moment as to whether or not to leave Agatha or take her with them. And Evanora uses this opportunity to possess Agatha again. Alice, heroically steps in to protect Agatha, using her power to forcibly eject Evanora from Agatha. However, in doing so, this leaves Agatha with what she always wanted, someone else's power, and she siphons the literal life out of Alice, killing her. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad about this because Alice had a whole episode previously dedicated to resolving her childhood trauma and realizing that her mother had crafted like the world's best protection spell anyone could ask for, only for her to die whilst protecting Agatha. The writers really know how to give with one hand and just take with the other one. Meanwhile, the Ouija board is going crazy. The wind is rushing and Teen rushes over to identify who the actual spirit is. With seconds to spare, Teen identifies the spirit as Nicholas Scratch and says his name outside, ending the trial. Nicholas Scratch, for those who don't remember, that's Agatha's long-lost son. So as the trial ends with Alice dead and the witches back on the road, a distraught Teen confronts Agatha, blaming her for Alice's death, saying that power was all she wanted. Jennifer reminds Teen that they are all on the road for that exact reason, to get what they want, and for that they all need power. Agatha, in a flick of a facial expression, just switches from remorseful to evil and drops another one of the most memorable lines from this episode. You are so much like your mother, taunting Teen and ordering him to come. But in probably the biggest surprise of the episode, we see a mind-controlled Lilia and Jennifer grab Agatha and toss her into a nearby bog. Then they themselves are then thrown into this bog by Teen, whose power is crackling around him with a blue aura. The episode ends with the camera panning out to reveal Teen wearing a familiar looking crown, seemingly identifying him as Wiccan, one of the sons of the Scarlet Witch. All the while, You Should See Me in My Crown by Billie Eilish is playing in the background. It's also worth noting that Rio is nowhere to be seen whilst all of this is going on. Interesting, I would say. Crikey, that was a lot to unpack in such a short amount of time. The Salem Seven, the children of the Salemites that Agatha killed centuries ago, are out for blood. Agatha's mask has begun to slip with her siphoning Alice's power without remorse and killing her. And Teen, the lovely, innocent teen we all thought was lost and confused. Has he been the master manipulator this entire time? Has he had his powers and just hidden them away really, really well? Episode 5 has posed more questions and answers very few. The official title of this episode is Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power, and it seemingly alludes to Teen awakening his, but to what end? This was another excellent episode in my opinion. Catherine Hahn continues to eat in every scene she's in. She delivers some of the best lines in the episodes and easily switches from scared to remorseful to evil with the flick of a facial expression. Aubrey Plaza again, she does no wrong. From the witchy maniacal laugh on the broomstick to suggesting they slit Agatha's throat, she was just a laugh a minute. And the rest of the cast again, they did an excellent job. Although I am so sad about Alice's death, I really, really hope that it's not the last we see of Ali Arn in this show. But hopefully, before the show's ended, we will find out more about Wiccan. And also, why is Rio there and what is her end game? Will Jennifer and Lilia make it to the end of the road? I'm seeing lots of theories online that Wiccan is on the road to bring back his mother, the Scarlet Witch, who seemingly died in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's all good and well, but how would they explain how he is a fully grown person now? As the last time we saw him in WandaVision, he was a child. I cannot wait to find out more. So if I was to give this episode a grade, I would give this a 9.5 out of 10. I think it was slightly better than episode 4, which in itself was excellent. But I think with the reveal of Teen as Wiccan, for those of us that didn't have any spoilers previously, that was, that was a pretty monumental reveal of that episode. And Alice's death as well. Oh, they really know how to pull on the heartstrings. So yeah, in my opinion, I would give this one a solid 9.5 out of 10. Another excellent episode. And as I keep saying, these episodes get better and better as the season goes on. So yeah, another excellent, excellent episode. So, what did you think of the latest episode of Agatha All Along? What was your favourite moment? Did you have the same issue as Agatha as to why you have no female friends? And what did you think of the internet breaking reveal of Wiccan at the end of the episode? I would love to know, as always, your thoughts and your comments on this, so please leave a comment down below. Smash that like button, subscribe if you are somebody new. Thank you for watching and listening. I will see you lovely people on the next video. Cheers.